you doing? I'm Stuart Bronstein, and we're here with New York natives, and we're going to go visit a friend of mine, Mr. Clayton Patterson. Hey,
Stuart, how are you? Always a pleasure.
Always a pleasure, man. Thanks for having me over.
Hey, my pleasure.
Tell me a little bit about what you represent in New York, and what's your claim to fame, I guess, if you want to call it that.
Well, I guess a few things. I mean, we created the Clayton cap. This was the first time embroidery moved around the peak. We were the first people to put a label, a signature on the outside, and we moved it around. We did custom caps. We did caps for individual people. And GQ magazine said we were one of the 2 best baseball cap makers in America. Then we have a jacket back from Satan Center Nomads. It's a street gang down here I videotaped a lot of. And Cochise actually just got out of jail. I'm doing a book with him. He's done drawings. He's doing a drawing book of gangs at the Lower East Side, street gangs. And he was the last of the street gangs that wore patches down here. Well, there's a book I did with Oh Wow. It's called The Front Door Book. And what I used to do is I photographed the people in the neighborhood in front of my door, and that basically made them famous. Because I had 32 pictures I would put on the outside of my window, little 2.5 by 3 by 5 inch photographs. And these are just a small portion. I put them in the window here, and there's like also where my caps were. So I photographed basically the whole Lower East Side would come to me. I would take their picture and put them in the window. We had the guys from Jersey that used to come here and buy hits. Hits were like 2 forms of pharmaceuticals and would make them really high.
So would you say that New York City completely inspired your whole art career?
Well, I had a vision before I came here, obviously, and a point of view. But I would say mostly coming to the Lower East Side really influenced me greatly and deeply. A person like myself, coming from Western Canada, it was like a United Nations in terms of like cultures and food. You know, you had Polish and Portuguese, and you had Russian, and you had Ukrainian, and you had Puerto Rican, and you had Dominican, and you had Chinese, and you had Japanese, and all these different kinds of foods. And then you had all of these artists where you had all these overlays. You'd have, different kinds of performers and performances. And you would have a whole spectrum of music. You'd have latch like anti-folk. You would have hardcore with bands like Warzone, like that. Then you would have, rock and roll. Blondie came out of here, Ramones. CBGB's was here. So you had this whole multi-layering, which fed off of each other.
Public hearing. We have a right to have it being documented.
Clayton, so tell us about the videotape that you took.
I grew up in the bad end of the working class, and I took a high school art course, and I like to say on a certain level, that's the first time I found God. It was one of the most inspiring things I ever did, and it changed my life. And really, when you come out of like the working class and that, like there's only a few ways out. You have music, art, and sports, basically. I mean, it's not where the doctors come from. It's not where the physicists come from. Those are all cultural things. And so the escape really is art or music or sports, and I found art. I really didn't like Soho at all. I didn't really like the whole sort of frat boy thing. I didn't like the whole sort of social hierarchy, the whole better than thou kind of thing. So I came deep into the woods. I came into the Lower East Side, and I came between Houston and Delancey, and this part was...
And now Lower East Side is sort of like Soho.
And now Soho has come here, so I have to find a way to deal with it and adjust it. The first night we were here, somebody got murdered across the street. And it was 24-hour drug dealing. But on another level, I would photograph a lot of those people and put them in my window, and so I photographed thousands of those people. And for me, that was really exciting. It was a total blessing to be able to document that whole street culture and a lot of those people, like Satan Center Nomads, Street Gang, a lot of different people. And so for me, it was wonderful, and I was really blessed to be able to create this huge archive dealing with these people.
What advice would you give to young artists in New York, considering the different environment, with the high rents and et cetera, et cetera? What advice would you give you if you had it?
I think this whole gentrification of America and the Lower East Side is just killing it. I think there's a big brain drain out of this. If you look at the Lower East Side, you can see, Lou Reed came out of here, Madonna came out of here, Jimi Hendrix was here. A lot of the Zap Comics people were here. Rothko had a studio on the Bowery, Jackson Pollock, the Ashcan School. It's really endless, the people that came out of down here. Emma Goldman, Dorothy Day. But they all survived because of cheap rent and an inexpensive lifestyle. Now, even you move to Brooklyn, you're going to pay $1,200, $1,500 a month. You still got to work. The whole idea about being in this creative place and doing these great things is you can't be spending all your time working. And so I would probably say China.